All right, welcome to TMG People First podcast. We are super excited. I've been looking forward to this podcast for a while because that's how I initially got introduced to Tony. And so we have a personality consultant on our podcast today. He helps business owners identify to get the right people aligned, how to talk to them, how to challenge them, and ultimately put them in teams to grow the business. And so, Tony, thanks for stopping by, man. How long have we known each other?
All in, it's got to be 5 years now.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years,
and
man.
I think it was a little bit of a pause, but then back on. I think it's been a good solid 2 years.
Yeah.
And thank you. First of all, I want to thank both of you for inviting me. That means a lot to me because it means you kind of get it, what we do.
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that very, very much.
Oh, you're welcome. We're really glad that you're here, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Good.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you, man.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming. So
Glad to be here.
we started a tradition, Tony.
Yeah.
And we always ask our guests,
Yeah.
what's the first thing they think about when they wake up in the morning?
How am I going to improve my golf handicap?
Oh, that's a good way to start the day.
What
Tony.
is your golf handicap?
Too high.
So lots of
So,
room for improvement.
Lots of room for improvement. But I got a plan. I'm working on a plan, and I'm executing my plan.
Is the
good.
short game
So we'll
involved
see.
in that plan?
No, it's just increasing swing speed.
Oh, okay.
It goes down when you get older.
Okay. Then the second question we have is, if you had, $10 and you're 13 years old and it's the weekend, what do you remember? What would you spend it on?
What
are
I
you doing?
spend it on, I'm begging my dad to take me to the ball game. I want to go to the baseball, football, basketball, whatever game it is.
Love it. And that was in Wisconsin?
That was in Wisconsin. Yeah, so we had
what
good
team?
teams back then. Usually went to a lot of Packer games.
Okay.
We always seem to get those. My claim to fame is I went to the game the week before the Ice Bowl.
Cool.
Dating myself. Then baseball is Brewers, who are doing well every year, and then Milwaukee Bucks. Here's an interesting story. Back then, you got the first-round pick with a coin toss, and the coin toss was between Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Is that cream?
And the Bucks got Lou Alcindor,
Yeah.
and Phoenix got Neil Walk. Guess who got the better end of that deal?
Who?
Yeah.
They were
Exactly.
both came into the league at the same time. Milwaukee won a championship within 3 years,
For sure.
just because of a coin toss.
It's crazy.
Arguably one of the best center of all time. And
Ooh, cream.
oh, yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
then
Yeah, a lot
on
of
some
strengths.
people's Mount Rushmore, for sure.
Have you been to Lambeau, Jason?
I have, yeah. Yeah.
That's just a sacred, special place there. You
Just an
can't.
overgrown, oversized high school stadium.
That's a
It's
good way to put
amazing
it.
because you
But
just pull into
here-
a neighborhood. This house is like it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It's unbelievable. It's pretty cool.
It's doesn't
Best
they don't
tailgate
make
I've
them
ever
like
been
that.
to, though.
It's
for
awesome.
sure.
Well, Tony, thanks for
Yeah.
coming in. Let's
Yeah.
get into the pocket here, the place
Yeah.
where you feel like because
Right.
really you have a unique skill set. You have a unique job. For those that hire people,
Yeah.
for those that hire salespeople, sometimes it can be very difficult, especially producers, and also just salespeople in
Right.
general, marketing, sales. There's a lot of different parts of the business. So why don't you tell us kind of what you do, who you help, what you're passionate about, and
So-
let's roll.
Well, I'm passionate about what I do. And, one thing I always tell people who always keep asking themselves, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I can say I know what I want to be when I grow up. This has been an outstanding career. I don't know how anything else I'd want to do. Helping companies solve problems, grow their business is very, very gratifying to see that happen. So can I talk a little bit about how I got
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
Let's
how
do
did
it.
you get?
Yeah.
What's your background, Tony?
There was no.
Yeah, take us back.
It was really happenstance. There was no. I was with a technology company. We made desktop computers back in the late '90s, early 2000s. We had a business model just like Dell, except we didn't do retail. We actually had a little better model than Dell because we were more nimble, and they couldn't be as nimble as us. So we would beat the pants off them all the time. The company in 10 years went from nothing to $100 million. And then the owner said, I want to expand this to 10 more states. So they did. And in 1999, they added 40 more salespeople in 10 states, added 3 managers. We did the business model and said, okay, in 1 year, they're probably not going to pay for themselves yet. Year 2, they should be starting to hit their stride. Definitely year 3, people are paying for themselves. All right, we're well into year 3, and there's only 2 people that are performing. And the business owner is getting antsy. Man, he's getting a little, because he's got to answer to a bank, right? And 40 salespeople fully loaded, like close to $3 million. So that's what he's shelling out a year for these guys, and they're not performing. So we're like challenged, figure this out. Well, our first thought, so I was one of 3 other sales directors who pretty much ran things. What's our first thought? We need more sales training. We're going to bring all these people in to Wisconsin and spend 2 days training them on how to be better salespeople. Cold call, close, negotiate, whatever. What do you think the ROI was on that? So you always got to go back and check the ROI on something. Whatever you spend money on, go back and validate. Nothing. So they said, okay, maybe it's a knowledge thing. So every Monday we spent time with the engineers to come in and give them more product knowledge. That didn't seem to work either. So then we said, how about more incentives? They sell more, they get an even bigger bump. That didn't have any effect at all. So we're like, what the heck's going on? Well, through conversation with some other business owners, a little bit like yourself here, Guffey, somebody said, call this guy. He turned my business around. His name is Gary Wallstrom. He's the owner of Culture Index. We ultimately did business with him. And we're like, I understand you can turn our business around. That's what everybody says. Yeah? Well, how do you do that? He says, well, first thing I want you to do is get 10 people to fill out this little survey here. And then we're going to meet, and I'm going to walk you through them. But I want you to get 5 that are performing and 5 that are not. Sound familiar?
A little bit.
A little bit. Well, when I went through it myself, I'm like, this kind of smells like a personality test. Well, how the heck's this got to do with growing your business? Well, we did it, went through it, and after he started, he just kind of went, here's 5, here's 5. I'm like, how much would you pay to have 5 more like that? And how badly would you like to see those 5 leave? And we're like, he had us at hello. And we immediately implemented the system, which came with a program for all the managers where we had to go through this 1.5-day class so that we could intellectually understand it, assess and analyze everyone who was in sales and their support teams. So we saw essentially what we really had, not what we thought we had.
And when you went through that first phase, Tony, like that, what did you think you had, and what was the actual outcome of what you had?
It was
like, how far apart was that?
Of the 40 that were hired, 37 should not have been granted an interview. So there's some things that there's so we're like, what did we miss? Everybody's resume checked all the boxes, interview checked all the boxes. All of them said they were number 1 where they came from, which can't be so because some of them came from the same company. So that couldn't happen. So at any rate, we're like, wow, that's pretty amazing. How did we miss? So when we took off and started the program, I still ask this same question today. I got 2 flip charts, and I'm going to ask you, how do you make hiring decisions? And I get this list. Experience. What industry did they come from? What were the results? What were the references say? I don't know, name how we hire someone. So then we interview them, and ultimately we either go, we like them or we don't like them. So a lot of it is based on subjectivity. So that's how we hired all these people, managers included. A few of them should not have been managers. Think about that. So Gary then asked us another question. Do these people have to be assertive? And we're like, yeah. Do they have to have a degree of tenacity? All 4 or 5 of us are like, yeah. Do they need to be competitive? Now we're starting to feel really stupid. Yeah. He goes, you got this guy out here who's number 1. I've heard you want to fire him. Why do you want to fire him? Well, he's kind of cantankerous. He rubs people the wrong way. Yeah, but his margin is double than any 2 people in the organization. Why wouldn't you want more like him? At any rate, he got us thinking about something. There's 2 components to a person. There's what they are, a salesperson, this many years, this industry, and then there's who they are. Is everybody tenacious? Is that a choice, or is it just who you are? So we got us to understand there's a difference between who you are and what you are. When you hire, we focus on the what, ending up with the interview. Do we like them? And who are the people doing the interviewing? Because if you're looking for very tenacious people, which we didn't even comprehend that, mild-mannered people will be offended by those individuals. So it got into deeper things like, well, who should interview these people? Mm-hmm. We had that wrong. Well, then as we learned more, we found out that, all right, you need tenacious people. Then his next question was, how tenacious? We actually score just how assertive, determined someone is when they put their mind to something. We didn't get that. In fact, kind of missed the boat because all through the 90s, what was happening in technology? People were putting desktop computers on everybody's desk for the very first time. Mm-hmm. Do you know what you needed to do to get the business back then? Be able to sell ice cream sandwiches. No offense to ice cream sandwiches. At any rate, it didn't take much. By the 2000s, you had to displace. So that took a different person. We didn't get that. Never entered our mind. Our owner pretty much said, so we got a complete turnaround here, don't we? Like, yeah, we do. Within 4 months, he had the business up for sale. I was not an owner, but there's one thing. I had used this and applied it for probably 3 years, I think. And when I was trying to think what I want to do, I kept coming back to this. If I can just show some business people, this is like the missing ingredient. It's the X factor. It explains
Definitely brings clarity
why
to teams.
Your business isn't performing, because it has a lot to do with who they are, not what they are. Mm-hmm. In fact, there were some people that I hired. Interviews lasted 5 minutes. Some of them didn't know how to turn on a computer, and they were the best ones I ever hired. So I got, the further I used it, the more all in I got. Mm-hmm. So there are actually 2 of us that, when he did sell, we came to work for Gary. Why Gary? He's as close to a genius as it comes to applying and being a consultant of businesses, and yes, turning them around. Mm-hmm. He's made lots and lots of people very, very wealthy.
That's cool.
What's some of the biggest turnarounds you've witnessed when people implement this level of process in their hiring?
Yes.
What's the biggest turnaround you've seen?
So my personal was someone who started a business, lightweight lighting for fuselages, and he's hired a lot of his buddies, a lot of very intelligent, nice people, engineers, to build a product, but he's failing to the point where he's 34 now, 35, and he's ready to cash it in. Going to sell, get out, save what he can save. Well, through word of mouth, somebody says, call Tony. I want you to call him. Your problems are people, and it's about who they are, not what they are. So I put him and his management team through it. It was interesting. There was one guy he thought was a great production manager. I said, in 2 years, he'll be gone. I said, you haven't seen good yet, because people don't. A lot of times we don't know what good is. We just get used to or accustomed to what good is. Well, after I started showing him what he needs to hire, he actually stuck to it, meaning he went out personally and oversaw every hire and made sure they had the right traits. 2007, 8, 9, 10, 2014. Some company calls him and says, hey, kind of interested in you. $100 get your interest? He goes, yeah, let's talk. Another company comes in, how about $1.50? Another one comes in and says, about $2. Another one comes back and says, $2.50. Sold. Made $250 million. He goes, Tony, I figured it out. I had a lot of really nice, smart people. They were just the wrong people. And I'll use that line. I even tell, his name is Jerry. I tell Jerry that all the time. I says, I will use your line. I don't quote you, but you nailed it. He just had the wrong people.
So if you're listening to this, I mean, what I like about Tony's system is it's kind of on the other side of complexity. It's simplicity on the other side of complexity, meaning he has these charts and there's colors on them, 4 colors typically.
Yep.
And then he just says, yeah, do this, do that. This person will do this. I'm wondering if we should maybe do a few of them here and show them up, show my profile, Jason's profile. You can scrutinize them. Maybe you'd never hire us, but you can look it up. You want to get these up here? Let me see.
So here's what I would do. I do also want to clarify one thing. A lot of times we get framed up in terms of personality test or hiring or testing or all this, and this. That is not who we are. We are business advisors to help figure out why you're stuck, why you're not growing, why you're whatever.
So how are you different than like DISC and Colby and
They don't do that.
Omnia?
Those are tests. What's a test? Fill this out. Here's what it says. We're taking it from there forward, which is, so how do I transform this information into how do I use this to transform my business? Well, the first thing we do is, first of all, we got to look at, I got to talk to and listen to the leaders and owners of a business. That's our customer. We don't work with the person down the hall that does payroll and benefits, okay? That's what most organizations do, and it gets sequestered there, and then this program doesn't go anywhere because they're the only ones who know about it. In fact, sometimes they become so powerful, they are now in control of your company. Who's ever in charge of picking the personalities is in charge of your company. And you wouldn't believe how many people let that one person down there in the corner who's supposed to make sure your benefits are up to date and all that's good stuff. Sorry.
Well, let's look
So,
at these. Here you go.
That I want to make sure you know what we're doing is we're focused on what is it that's going on here. Talk to me. What's going on with your business? Are you where you want to be? What's blocking you? All right, let's start analyzing and assessing. And we're using this. All we're doing is using data. Applied behavioral analytics, we'll call it. But our job as advisors is to ask the right questions to understand your business. We're probably no different than you guys, really, right? You're in there solving problems. You got to ask questions. So I need to understand that. People need to tell me what's going on. Why are you not? Are you happy, satisfied with where you're at? Well, let's show you why. All right.
Who do you have
This
up here?
graph. So what I'm going to do here is just show you, this is all we use, a graph, which makes it kind of simplistic because we're graph people. When you get to understand graphs, it's pretty easy. So we kind of teach you to make sure you understand this, but I'm here to advise. This will tell me, by looking at this, is this a proactive, assertive person or a passive, reactive, docile person? In this case, this is not an assertive, competitive person. This is an extremely assertive, competitive person. So when he puts his mind to something, it's hard to deter. Now, when I start looking at your organization, your industry, how much of that behavior is required to be successful? We had the luxury of looking at lots and lots of data, lots of people who've had lots of years of performance, and we found some things out that the more one is, the much more likely they're going to succeed and maybe succeed big. We show you how much outgoing or social ability, or can they connect? Okay. He will when he wants something from you. Can he work under pressure? That's the only way he wants to work. Does he want to delegate? He'll delegate everything he can that doesn't have to do with him making the sale. In other words, once it's done, to get him more successful, I need to build a real strong team around him. And I think I know who this person is. Have we built a strong team around him?
Yes, we have.
How much more does that help this person perform? Get it? It's not just him. Now I got 2-3 people, and I've built a whole sort of team inside of your organization, not just one person.
So what are the
that
differences?
Should be firing on all cylinders.
What are the differences between Jason and I's profile? Because we both are classified as a trailblazer.
Trailblazers.
And
Yeah.
but our graph is he's got the hook back on the green there.
Yeah.
And he seems to be a naturally more empathetic. But he's still quite the driver. So where do Jason and I differ? We're about the only two trailblazers here at the Mahoney Group that similar wide graph. We have a couple more, but what are we that different? Are we that what are we?
There's some slight differences.
Okay. Let's go there.
And I want to make sure you also understand we don't tell or measure how much money does someone want to make, what industry do they want to work in, what do they want to be when they grow up. Those are the real questions you want to try to get at in the interview. Is what is a minimal standard of living you want to have? What would be your ideal compensation model if you had one? See, I want to hear if I work harder, I make more. Okay? How much more? Well, how much is on that table right there? Give me a number.
Yeah.
That'll tell me how much is a minimal standard of living. So we're measuring 7 traits related to the business. Autonomy is the red one. Autonomy is a trait that is a self-directing, self-motivating, assertive, take charge, proactive person. When it's right of the arrow, it's more. When it goes further and further, it's more and more. So there is a difference. Think of some people on the planet, the world today, how driven they are. A lot of famous business people that seem absolutely relentless. That's that red dot being way over to the right-hand side.
So 5 over to the right is pretty.
Statistically, there's a bell curve here. Puts them somewhere in 2%.
Okay.
It's a very, very strong, powerful amount. So what does it take to deny someone with that amount of assertiveness?
Nothing.
What's that?
Nothing.
Mediocre. Mediocrity.
So now this is where I come in and say,
I suppose it's not possible, Tony.
so if there was a Suburban outside with 5 like this, how much would you pay for that Suburban?
If there was a Suburban outside with 5 like that.
Yeah.
5 just like us, Jason. Yeah. Just like you.
Keep in mind there's some trade-offs. It can be a little hard on the furniture. But do they make you money? How soon do they make you money? What kind of money?
Well, not all money's
satisfied?
Good money.
When is that trait ever satisfied?
Sure.
Never. The next one is yellow is social ability. The further it moves right, the more friendly, positive, upbeat, naturally empathetic, or outgoing. It's a little left of the arrow or a little left of the red dot, which I say when they need something from you, they can turn the switch on. But they're not natural. They're actually a little more on the, both of them are actually a little bit more on the
introverted
side.
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
I don't mind watching a game by myself, family. Like,
Okay.
I don't need to go out, and makes sense.
The blue one on the left-hand side means they have a high sense of urgency, very naturally sensitive to time, due dates. And when they're not being met, they will increase the volume and the pressure on whomever they need to. The green is conformity. That's the opposite of autonomy. Conformity is about sticking to the book, conforming to a norm, a standard. That's someone who plays it safe, stays inside the box, and focuses on all the micro. The A is macro, the D is micro.
So let me ask you this question, Tony. In our industry and a lot of other industries, they'll tell salespeople, follow the process. Just follow the process. And a lot of salespeople that do are very successful. There's a lot of people that don't. A lot of salespeople that say, I have my own process and it works. Where's that happy medium if you're a business of you want to have a sales system, you want to have a sales process that is good and that doesn't have, friction, but you also need some top salespeople that want to drive, want to create, want to innovate. And so, like this big, you want that wide gap between the green and the red though, don't you? If you're hiring salespeople that are driven, but you want that to you want people to follow maybe your system and process if it's or they will no problem if they can see that it'll make them money.
So
like, what's your thought on that?
When you have autonomy traits as strong as these two individuals, what do they think of a process? It's an impediment because they're always thinking independently for themselves, what chess move do I need to make next?
So it's like a framework better for these type of people?
I need to figure out. So we get into a deeper discussion. I
we don't
would ask, define process. What do you mean by process? Right? Internal processes? Do you have see, if I had back-end processes to support this individual, I could double his business.
Yeah.
If you don't have back-end processes and he has to do his own work, one, he ain't going to like it. Two, he's going to be bad at it. Three, we just wasted a whole bunch of talent. So I would need to understand when people make sort of comments like follow a process. I'm like, what do you mean by process? Like when I get at my desk at 8, I do this and then I do this and I do this. Well, those are people who clearly aren't using a program and they just got a hodgepodge of people. They can't think for themselves. So they figure a process will do the thinking for them.
I see.
So again, it goes into some questioning. The thing is, these don't need a process. In fact, remove process. I want back-end processes, and I don't want to get mad at them that they want to kind of say, I got her closed, your turn. Don't get mad at them when they're saying, you know what, they don't work that hard. I used to have to deal with that and say, I know. But you know what? If they don't get business, you aren't going to have a job. So be thankful for that dot right there. Yeah. So conformity is about making sure all the little things are buttoned up and tidy and neat. In your business, I usually find they inherited daddy's business and they're just weed and feeding.
See, Tony likes, this is what I like.
Tony's keeping it real, man.
He's very blunt, which I've always liked. And he always says, I like dealing with trailblazers because I can't offend you. I could just be myself.
So that's for everybody who's listening in here. I'm talking to them the way they want to be talked to, as direct, transparent. Notice the things I've said. Some people are going to think not good things about me. And they're going to say, I never want him to come past the front door again. But if I don't speak to them this way, they're not going to respect me. In fact, did you notice they were laughing? That's respect. That's appreciation.
Tony's
they want to hear
wizard. Now, what's cool, what I really liked about your business model, other than like I said, the simplicity on the other side of complexity, but what I really liked is it's a subscription base. Our people get trained, so you want as many people to take this survey as possible. A lot of the other things out there on the market are like, $10 a survey, $25 a survey, $50 a survey. And this business model says, no, I want everyone to take the survey. So I know who I don't have to interview, sift through the mess, And then when you see those profiles that really pop that you're designed for your company, you need better marketing. This person's a marketer. This is the profile for a recruiter. This is a profile for this, right? All of a sudden, that's what I really like about your business model. You know?
So that's what I was getting at, is that we're advisors using data. Okay. That's what you're talking about, is a test that says, oh, this is what they are, and this is so on and so forth. Okay. So what do you do with that? Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to grow your business, you can't. You got to get more like this. And through some studies I think we've done here, Guffey, right? Yeah. If that red dot isn't, so
if the red dot's to the right, you can't succeed here.
Well, not just to the right. It had to be something like more than 2 or 3 to the right. Yeah. So it didn't take a 300 horsepower engine. We needed the 623.
Yeah,
is what it takes. Why? Think of your business. What does it take to succeed? How much inner mental tenacity does one have to win business here?
Yeah, it's significant.
Not every business is the same. Yeah. This may not work for all industries.
One of the things I find interesting is,
I'll get back to your question too.
Yeah, but how do you to be able to use the information not only to hire but to develop? So because it calls out strengths potentially and potential weaknesses, right?
Got it. Perfect.
Like that.
Love it.
Like how are you using the information not only to hire but actually train, develop leaders and organizations?
So these two individuals, if they came into this industry, how much information do they really need to know before they say, I'm ready?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Thank you. Right answer. So I make sure I'm just keeping the training programs short, simple, and just the things they need to know to win. Like, how do I play that game and how much do I make if I win it? That's all they need to hear. Nuggets. I don't teach them every little thing about every little thing. That's for Daddy's son who inherited the business.
Well, we have a lot of other.
So I don't need to teach them much. These are self-thinkers. Do you know what self-thinkers are doing all the time, every day when they're working on an account?
Thinking.
What do I need to do? What do I need to try? They seldom do they even come to anyone. Many times they're going to go, why aren't you coming to me for help? They're like, I don't understand the question. I'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. They'll come to you when they're ready. So I adjust, and this was a long, long time when I was in this business. We switched because this organization, they said, got complacent. They went from an order-taking industry to a gotta-go-get-business industry. So they swapped out their entire sales force. And then the person who was in charge of training calls me yelling and screaming and thought she was going to get fired because these people were coming in for their 3-week training sessions and they were leaving after day 2. I said, oh, yeah, forgot to tell you. Keep it short, simple, and just the things that matter. That's what I got to do. She goes, well, I'm not going to have a job then. Well, now I've already had that conversation with her boss's boss. So I said, well, I stop worrying. It's not a big deal. We'll figure something out. So there's a lot of kind of confidentiality that has to go on. Mm-hmm. I work a little bit like you guys do, a lot of attorney-client privilege type business way of doing things. This isn't for everybody. There will be people that won't like what they hear or see. But are we really doing them a favor by pushing them into a role that's not making them healthy? Because when you got to be something you're not, that's this bottom graph. Tells me what they believe is required to do the job. See how these two graphs look relatively similar? This individual believes who he is what he needs to be. So there's
not a lot of conflict there, not a lot of internal conflict.
There's no conflict there.
So to answer your question too, Jason, on my team, Tony and I, we did this for our team, and he helped me understand how people actually want to be validated or praised. One person wanted to be individually praised. One person wanted to be praised in front of others. Another person just wanted a little bit of a bump in pay, And so it was good that I could appreciate, I could show them and validate their hard work in the way that they could receive it,
Well, there was an individual here. If we want to get we're getting a little granular. I like to stay high level. Like, tell me where's the business top line? Is that where it needs to be, or do you want it to be more? How much more? By when? Let's look at EBITDA. Is it where you want it to be? Because those are efficiency problems.
Sure.
So that means we got to look at the back of the house and see, why do you have inefficiency problems? Okay. I'll show you how to fix both. So if you have back end efficiencies, you guys are going to produce more. If you don't, you're going to have to do more of that stuff yourself, which is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. 1, you're going to hate it. 2, you're not going to like it. And 3, you're going to get harder on the furniture. Just the way it is. We didn't get that when I was with the company. We needed that. That's what we didn't get that. Now, getting back to something Guffey said, which is real important. We're really just dealing with analytics, data, whatnot. There's only so many people that have personalities like this. Would you believe these two people are about 5% of 6% of the population? So why would we charge you $35 a pop? Because you're going to have to run. Do you know how many surveys you're going to have to run to find people like this? Do you understand how rare this talent is right here? So our clients
say that
this,
again. This feels really good. Really. Oh, that's right. You know how to talk to us, and you're our consultant, and we're paying him.
This is
very
very important.
People in the back need to hear it again.
If you want high-end talent like this, this will make you money. They're going to be a little rough on the furniture, be hard on people if people aren't performing. How I can fix that by getting the right people around them. Duffy, I think
you helped a lot.
Tweaked your team, your back-end support team a few years ago. By now, we should start seeing some results.
Yeah, we have.
Then I come back and validate. How's that working? Is he in a better mood these days? Is he making more money because you see him coming in later and going home earlier? That's because he's got 2 or 3 people that do everything else for him, and he doesn't even have to think about it. What's that worth to you? These graphs, these personality types are finite. So we don't want to charge you each time you send one out because that's a deterrent. So our clients, what they do is they put this as the very first step, and the ones who are serious about growing will make this a KPI. How many surveys are we getting? Because it's like fishing. If I don't have more nets in the water, I'm less likely to get these. Yeah. So we want you to get thousands and thousands. I've got a client not too far here, 10, 12,000 a year. That's awesome. And they're about 40, 45 employee company. Wow. They hired maybe 8 people. Completely overhauled and turned the business around.
Do you ever miss, Tony? Does this ever miss?
Yes, when you don't do what I tell you to do. And I'm being dead serious.
You look serious.
These 2 individuals are extraordinarily tenacious and competitive. If they're not getting results, do they have any ability to be empathetic?
I would hope so, yes.
That was not my question. Answer my question.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
You're wrong.
I didn't answer.
You're dead nuts wrong, and you know it. Do not lie. The dots.
I want it to be right.
I know. I understand.
He doesn't know. He's always been successful. How is he supposed to know?
Don't lie. If I get you more of the right kind of people, you're going to be a much happier person. But when results aren't being achieved, how fast is he up down the hall having a pretty stern conversation with someone? Because it's about to cost you a pretty nice account.
But, I know Jason. Jason knows me.
Does that make
sense? And we have a lot of top performers here.
Yeah.
And we want, obviously, to help them, the back end and all these things. But, we don't want to treat people like they're the friction or they're the problem if we can. We want to really help The people that can develop skills, we want them to help. But at the same time, if a cornerback keeps giving up a touchdown over and over and over, they can't be on the field, right? It's just
Correct.
when you're a high performing team,
Right.
you want to coach, you want to correct. I need coaching.
Right.
Like I have
Right.
people here that coach me and internally and
Right.
externally that I'm extremely grateful for.
Right.
And so I think we're at a place, Jason, where, we have some people moving and people developing skills, and us included, and
Right.
it's really good. But we got a long way to go.
Yeah. So there's two things that are critical to the success of this. And we actually don't. You either do it right or it's going to fail. You asked the question earlier, Jason, when does it fail? It comes with two components. One is unlimited consultation and advice from me. I want to brag, but you're kind of paying for me to be able to mobilize this because I can see things. Like if he's telling me one of our business problems is we're too rough on people, say, okay, I want to see all the people. I want to see who's rough on which people. We need to kind of diagnose and get to the bottom of what it is. It's probably personality trait related. Okay, might be a wrong person in the wrong seat. Some people are maybe more naturally just harder on people than I'm teasing you, having some fun with you a little bit here, but
Sure.
for effect. But at the same time, you guys are very, very results driven. And think of a sports team when you get traits. I'm sure as some successful coaches out there, how are they when their teams aren't performing? I love making a difference for my clients. And if you're not, then I push you. So what are you paying me for here? Just to make you laugh, or actually trying to do something?
Yeah.
Sometimes you laugh to keep from crying, Tony.
Well, this was awesome. I'm super glad that Tony stopped by. Jason, this was enlightening.
Can I say something?
You got him
Can
good.
I get
Wrap it up. Why don't you wrap it up?
One more wrap up. When I know I've been successful when somebody hires me, there's problems, probably more than they know. And when they go through the workshop, I usually get this at the end. Does this session always make everyone feel this nauseous? And I'm like, it worked. This is good. This is going to be a fun account. Because it's not that hard to turn around. It has to do with the dots, not the resume.
Well, that's cool. Love it. Anything else, Jason?
I think we're ready to wrap it up. Guff, thanks,
All right.
man.
Let's put a
Tony,
bow on
you
it.
guys.
Tony,
Thank
thanks for
you
stopping by,
guys.
man. This was fun.
You guys were I was being a little like for effect, but
You did good.
I don't feel like a psychopath. That's okay.
I came short of that. Say that. I can't. There's some things we can't tell about people. That's one.